Hi everyone, welcome to New Broken Crafts. I've not uploaded in about 6 weeks, but I've been busy, so that's fine. So today we're going to be talking about the Joy-Con. Joy-Con's a good controller, and I quite like it, but a common problem with it is that the stick will end up breaking. You get a lot of drift and you can't push it into the right positions anymore, and sometimes that's fixable, but sometimes you have to just go out and replace the stick. So that's what we're going to teach you to do today. We're going to be focusing on the right hand Joy-Con. In order to replace your right Joy-Con's analog stick, you're only going to really need 3 things, which is a pair of tweezers, simple, you can get them in any pharmacy shops, and 2 screwdrivers. I've got a whole set here, but you only actually need a small Y-head and a small Phillips screwdriver. You also need, of course, your replacement stick. You can buy these online for quite cheap. I'll put a link to everything you need in the description. Doing this isn't a particularly hard job, and it can probably be done by somebody with little to no electronics experience, but that being said, block out a decent amount of time for it just to be sure, because you want to go slowly just to make sure you don't break it, because it's an expensive piece of kit. The first step is to remove these 4 black screws here using your Y-shaped screwdriver. When working with such small screws, you need to be careful to keep them all together and safe, and make sure you know exactly which screw came from which hole for putting them back in. Next, you're going to use your fingernails to gently pry the Joy-Con apart from this side. It should come quite easily, so if there's a struggle, try and do it again, see if you're doing anything wrong. This will open like this, and you have to make sure not to pull apart these flex cables too much, because then you can't charge or use your Joy-Con. Our next step is to remove this battery. So first of all, before we work with the battery, we should always disconnect it. So see here, this little black and red cable feeds in there. You can just use your tweezers to pull that out, and that's the battery disconnected. Next, all you need to do is use your fingernail to press under the battery and just loosen that adhesive. It will make a small snap, but don't worry about it. And then just pull it out. Now that the battery is disconnected, we can put it to the side and then use our small Phillips screwdriver to remove this middle panel here. So once the 3 screws are removed, this panel should just lift out . Being careful not to damage the cable holding in the RZ button. Now you can see the back of the analog stick already in the Joy-Con. Now this is what we're going to replace with a new stick. But first of all, we need to remove these 2 screws and this ribbon cable. So we'll start with the screws. Now to remove this ribbon cable, there's a small connector here that we just need to lift up the black flap of. So I like to use tweezers just to be careful, but you can do it by hand if you feel more comfortable that way. And just flick that up, and that's it released. Then you can use your tweezers to just slowly but carefully pull out the blue cable. And there you go. The broken stick is removed. So now we're going to be putting in our new replacement stick. All you have to do for this is to just place it in exactly the way that the other one was. So this will just push into the hole. There'll be a bit of force on it, but that's just to get the rubber cap through, so don't worry about that. Now we're going to have to use our tweezers to feed the blue ribbon cable, or whatever colour cable your replacement stick has, back into the original connector. This part's a bit fiddly, it might take you a few minutes, but just take your time, don't force it, and be very careful. Now that that's in there, I'm just going to use my thumb to press the connector back down, and that is the stick, should be connected now. Now it's all just a matter of screwing the Joy-Con back up, so we're just going to start with the stick, getting it back into its place. Now we're just going to put this middle panel back over where it should be by turning it around and placing it down. Those 3 screws can go back in. Now we put the battery back in. So for that, it's easiest if you put it back into the slot first. Do that, press down a bit so it joins back onto the adhesive from before, and then we can just use our tweezers to position the small black connector back into its spot and then click it in. Now all it's left to do is to put a small sensor back into its slot on the side of the Joy-Con here, and then to just click the top back into place, making sure to get the rails correctly put on the inside, then tighten the final 4 black screws, again using the Y-shaped screwdriver. So as you can see, the stick now works perfectly. I'll put videos side by side so that you can see, but I can play games fine with it now, and it's fixed, and I hope yours works too. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope it helped you out, and if you ever need anything else Switch related, I make a lot of videos with that, customization, modification and stuff, so keep watching if you want.